A very good afternoon to all of you. We welcome you all to the 8th and the last plenary session of the conclave, focusing on the deep ocean mission and its relevance for coastal state and union territories in envisioning the country's future economy. I now request the moderator, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary MOES, to felicitate our panelists. We welcome Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Director NIAS. We welcome Shri K. Rabadia, Secretary Kalpasar, Government of Gujarat. We welcome Dr. J.K. Jaina, DDG Fisheries, ICAR. We welcome Mr. Prabir Banerjee, Pondi Citizens Action Network, Puducherry. We welcome Mr. K. Srinivasan, Kaushik Pressure Vessels Private Limited, Chennai. We welcome Dr. M.V. Ramamurthy, Program Head, Deep Ocean Mission, MOES. We welcome Dr. J.R. Bhatt, Advisor, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. We welcome Dr. Sunil Kumar Singh, Director, National Institute of Oceanography, Goa. Now I invite our moderator to kindly initiate the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. As you all know that ocean covers around 72% of the Earth's surface, and ocean provides countless benefits to us. Ocean feeds us, it regulates weather and climate, it generates most of the oxygen. Half of the breath, what we are doing is from the ocean, phytoplankton. And also it is the largest carbon sink on the earth, and also it provides large amount of living and non-living resources, and it is also provides opportunity to tourism and recreation, and most importantly, it is also marine transport, especially shipping. And also it is having a security, coastal protection and other things. So, however, only 5% of the ocean resources, especially in the deep ocean, has been explored. Considering this importance of the ocean, Government of India Vision New India 2030, under that one of the mission, sixth dimensions of the New India mission is ocean blue economy policy. So under that policy, I think one of the mission as envisaged is the deep sea ocean our deep ocean mission is an important mission is envisaged. Under this mission, there are about 6 verticals. One is to harness our technology for harness the living and non-living resources. And the number 2 is advisories for the coastal, what is the coastal states will be, how it will be in the future. So which are the area will be inundated, or what are the threats in the coastal states, to monitor and make a multi-vulnerability index for the ocean. And the third one is a biodiversity. What are the biodiversity exist in the Indian Ocean, especially in our coastal or in our EEZ region, and how to protect them. That is another third dimension of the deep ocean mission. And the fourth one is exploring or exploitation of, mainly exploring the hydrothermal vents. Basically, what are the wealth available in the non-living resources. And the fifth one is energy from the ocean. Because energy, you know that there are various forms of energy, offshore wind and ocean thermal energy, salinity gradient energy, ocean current, and maybe there are so many forms of energy available from them. And then how to harness that energy, what is the technology available presently? If it is not, what is our plan in the future? And the last element in the deep ocean mission is basically capacity building for the future generation, what we need to do in the ocean sector. So this is what we plan to discuss in this particular panel. Of course, I request all the panelists, because of the time, most of the people I requested not to present any PPT slide as of now. So I have very limited time. Maybe, I think our panelist is having academicians and industrialists and NGOs and there are scientists, all kinds of mixed bags are there here. So first I will start with the various people, each one what is their point of view under deep ocean mission, what is that we need to do, and how to involve maybe the coastal states and other things they can go around, and maybe at the end of the panel discussion we can think about what is our plan in the future. Thank you very much. And first of all, I will request Dr. Sailesh Naik. He is a former Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Sir, maybe you can sit and talk, or if you, whatever convenient. And he is presently Director of NIAS, National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bangalore.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I won't take much time on this. There are few things which is very important for the coastal states. I won't go into the details of other things. The one is fisheries, and most of the fishery today in India is a coastal fishery, except I think Andhra Pradesh and Lakshadweep have a deep fishery, tuna fishery. So I think there is a tremendous scope. According to our initial estimates, there are about 3.3 million tons of a deep water fishery which is almost unexplored. So this is an area which is very important. Also, there is another thing which is very important, is to develop a tourism, especially on the Gujarat coast, where off Saurashtra coast you get a lot of wells, and this is the only place, like lions only in India, the wells are only off the Saurashtra coast. So that is an area which could be developed as a very important area which could be developed as a tourist place. The third, of course, is the ecosystem, and which Dr. Ravi mentioned about biodiversity. And there are many services which is coming out of this. What services we know is about provisioning, that means fishery part we know very well. But there are many other services which also provides from the ecosystem, like regulating the carbon dioxide, the regulation, the methane and many other things, carbon sequestration, also the production of primary and secondary level, that is the another one, and also the source stabilization. So those things are not taken into account. I think each state has to take into account these services which is also coming from this. And the third is the various technologies which will be built for deep ocean, like one which is developed as a remotely operable vehicle, which can work up to 6,000 meters, but for the states can use it for the near coast as well, which could be the other model which could be used, or the soil tester, which is automatic testing of the seabed strength, which is also could be done, used by the states for the various activities which is now happening near the coast. The third is autonomous vehicles, which also could be used. And the most important is the submersible, manned submersible, which also could be used by many states for many of those, their activities, especially developing deep sea tourism. And the last, which I would say, is the seabed mapping. We have mapped Moon, we have mapped Mars, but all over the world, the seabed mapping is yet not done. And it is in the interest of the state to, in those areas where they have the interest, to map the seabed. I think this is the most important thing. And with this few words, I would thank for inviting me to here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I think exactly what you mentioned about the mapping, what we have mapped everywhere in the land and moon and everywhere, but we are not able to map still ocean. There are a lot of hidden resources available in the seabed, which we need to do in the coming generation. For that only we need to have a technology and other things. Now may I request Dr. Abidia about mainly to talk about water issues in coastal areas and also center-state collaboration in blue economy, what we are presently doing and what we need to do in further.
Now first I'll just talk about the water issues of the coastal area. We know that coastal zones are under continuous pressure in the worldwide actually. The population also is growing, and at the same time the industrialization also been taking place along the coastal area of any country. So there are two issues are there because the water requirement is tremendously increased along the coastal area. Now there are third dimension, that is the farmers are also doing the agriculture along the coastal area. So drawing of the water from the ground, it also increased tremendously. Industries also require the fresh water. So all which are population is also increasing. So fresh water for drinking purpose is also required for the drinking purpose. So all these factors affecting the resources, water resources along the coastal area. Now the major issue along the coastal area is, as we know, that it is a sea intrusion we call as. Once we take the groundwater, naturally the sea water will intrude inside the land area. So continuously the freshwater resources is continuously become saline along the coastal area. Now there are solutions are also there that we go for desalination or some recharge structures also we are constructing at the coastal area. But looking to the quantum of the water and the development, these water resources are also very less compared to this thing. So now government is also thinking so that the groundwater extraction also will be reduced and the more water recharge structures also will taken place. Second thing is there are all the rivers which are directly meeting to the sea. As we know that due to the tidal variation, the river water means sea intrusion takes place along the river also. If we talk about the Gujarat, there are major rivers which are Narmada, Tapi, and Mahi, and even Sabarmati, which are directly meeting to the Gulf of Cambay. So if we see that during the high tide, there are 30-40 kilometers stretch of the river which is have the saline water inside the river. So along this river also, the groundwater is deteriorated and the land is also been deteriorating. So now there are always requirement that we have to find out the solution. Normally we go for a barrage type of the structure along the river, and at the same time we have to see that there is no ecological harmful effects takes place due to these hard structures. Now second major issue of the coastal water means coastal area is the pollution. As we know that all the industries which are located along the sea, they are discharging that waste into the sea area. Second thing, that some of the industries which are discharging the waste effluent into the river, now due to the increase in the industrialization, now they require to ship this disposal point into the sea. So now, if this goes on increasing in the sea disposal, there is also issue of the pollution in the sea also. So these are the major concerns along the coastal area water regarding. Now second part, if I take that the center and state collaboration for the sea related issues. So if I talk about the Gujarat, since we are planning for Kalpsar project, it is one of the ambitious projects of the government of Gujarat, and it is a very complicated, you can say, project. It is not of that scale, it's constructed in the world, and it is the first type of the structure we are going to plan along the Gulf of Cambay. In the Kalpsar projects, we are planning to construct a 30 kilometers dikes inside the sea. Total length of the barrage, means dikes, is around 60 kilometers long. Now since 1990s we were planning to construct, because this type of the projects is not been constructed in the world elsewhere, so it is a challenging environment. Second thing, at the Gulf of the Cambay, we have a highest tidal variation. So in that, there is a technically complications also there for the designing of this thing. We had a global tender in 2009 and 2010 also. Ultimately, we feel it that we can prepare a detailed project report of this mega scale in India only. So we requested the Ministry of the Earth Science, and Ministry of the Earth Science has readily accepted our proposal, and they are preparing this detailed project reports of the Kalpsar, and I am happy that we will be completing this detailed project reports by the December 2022. And after that, already we have already applied for the environment clearance also. So I am thankful that Ministry of the Earth Science for preparing such type of the detailed project reports which is not been prepared elsewhere in the world, and is the first time of this kind. And there are more than 18 institutes, specialized institutes, which are involved in this one. So this is one of the best example of the collaboration between state and the center, you can say. Second thing is that there is also issue of the coastal erosion. As we know that Gujarat has a 1600 about kilometer coastal length, and there is a South Gujarat we call as from Navsari, Surat and Valsad. They are also experiencing the coastal erosion maximum, is the level of the erosion is very much maximum. And for that also, we are taking the help of the center, and center is helping us. We already constructing some hard type of the structures, around 270 meter lengths, 270 crores rupees of the structures we have constructed along the coastal area of a 53 kilometer length. And for that also the center has helped in the technical issues also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rabadia. And I think definitely I'm sure that the Kalpasar project will come soon in reality, and it will be a showcase for the world what project we can do in the collaboration with the state and center. So now I request Dr. Jana, DDG Fisheries, to talk about how we are good in deep sea fishing, whether we are overfishing or underfishing, and how we can go ahead in future. You can just highlight in 5 minutes, yes, so that we can.
Good afternoon, everyone. Most respected Dr. Ravichandran ji, Honorable Secretary MOES, and moderator of this session, co-panel members, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, when I got this invitation, I saw 2 people are in the list. So I thought at least 15 to 20 minutes I would have. But having known that only I have 5 minutes, I will try to be as precise as possible. And I will try to finish in 5 minutes, sir. All of us know how we have grown. When we talk of ocean, fish comes to our mind first. Not only fish, other living beings, whatever are there in the ocean. Next, you can proceed. Okay, let it be there. When we talk about the fisheries, first marine fisheries come to our mind. In 50s, we never thought of aquaculture. everybody was looking at marine resources for exploitation. Whatever the fish production was there, 0.5 million ton, out of 0.75 million ton, 5 million ton, 0.5 million ton were coming from the sea. Sea was remaining same area still today, but we have been able to increase our production more than 8-fold, at least to the extent of about 4 million ton at this point of time we have been able to produce. But the problem all of us know when we compare with the temperate climate, all of us know when we compare with the tropical and temperate, our fisheries is multi-species fisheries. Even the commercial exploitation, whatever you see, more than 1,200 species we exploit at this point of time. But in spite of the fact that we have more than 2 million square kilometer of our EEZ, but only about 0.2 million square kilometer we have been able to utilize effectively, that is up to 50-meter depth. In spite of all our effort, mechanization, motorization happened, we have not been able to even exploit the continental shelf region 200-meter depth, up to 200-meter depth, which is about maybe 1/4 of our EEZ, about 0.5 million hectare. But looking at the future potential, we know that our conventional resources is somewhere around 5.3 million metric ton, and we are harvesting somewhere around 4 million ton. So there is very little gap, about maybe more less than 1.5 million ton at this point of time. But the non-conventional resources, what we have been talking at this point of time, whether the oceanic resources, tuna-like fishes, the purple, mainly the purple black squid, which we have not been able to harvest at all. For example, today we have, whatever the preliminary estimate says, that we have in the EEZ itself, we have about 6.3 lakh ton or 6.5 lakh ton around of the squid, which is, this squid grows to not the squid what we see in the territorial waters. This squid grows about 2 meter in size. Even the average size of the whatever the fisheries we have, 5 to 6 kilo of squid, and the squid per kilo, the mental squid itself, you will get $60 to $70 per kilo. That much we have not been able to exploit. The myctophytes, lanternfish, we do not know, because the depth at which it is present, about 500 meter to 2 kilometer depth, we know the fisheries is there, but how do we exploit? Even the mechanization and all, we have not gone to that level. Even the resources, whatever we have estimated, it is based on some of the preliminary estimate. We have not gone to that level of survey and estimating whatever is available at this point of time. So our major focus is how we exploit those deep sea resources in the jet. Besides this, the area beyond our national jurisdiction, which we have not thought of even exploiting. For example, today the krill resources, whatever we have, the Indian quota is about 90,000 tons every year we can exploit. But we know that for exploitation of maybe Euphausia superba, you need a factory vessels. But the vessels we have only 20 meter, 25 meter. What the Norwegian or Chinese vessels, you have more than 100 meter plus factory vessels where you have onboard processing facilities and all. So you need to have heavy investment on those lines also. Besides this, what we need to think also, who are the potential partners who can work together? All of us know ICAR Institute, for example, we have two institutes, CMFRI, Central Marine Fishery Research Institute. Since 1947, we have been working on different aspects. We have CIFT, Central Institute of Fishery Technology, working on the harvest and post-harvest aspects and all. So I sincerely believe the ICR Institute, CMLRI, or NIO, maybe NIOT, all of us need to come together for working on those first stage itself, survey. And sir was talking about, we have not seen what is there in the bottom of the ocean. So one need to think is what is there inside in the benthic fauna and all, if at all there. Anything mainly we can use for bioprospecting. For example, over these years of work, for example, last 5 years, we have been able to develop few drugs, rather I would say, mainly for the arthritis, anti-arthritis, obesity, so and so forth from the seaweed itself. More than 20 such drugs we have been able to come out, and which has been patented and commercialized also. So what we think is in the coming days also, with the partnership of all of us, we should be able to see what are the potential bioresources what we have, and how do we explore those resources are so important. Friends, at this point of time, probably I have my presentation ready, which can be shared to others, everybody can look through this presentation and look what are the other aspects I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jana. I am sure that in order to increase the contribution of blue economy to the national GDP, it is imperative that we need to go for a deep sea fishing as well as grill fishing. These are the two things which the country has not mounted any effort. I think we need to augment that such effort. So now, thank you very much, and I request Dr. Sunil Singh. So just maybe to highlight about what are the deep sea exploration in terms of non-living resources and how that will be benefited to the country's blue economic growth.
Good afternoon, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank DST for organizing such an unique conclave, where state and center are interacting with each other. And also I would like to thank our panelists sitting on dais for providing this opportunity for me to talk about deep sea mission, something about exploration of deep sea. As you are aware, this entire blue economy is contributing about 4% of our GDP. And India, to become or enter into the 5 trillion economy, we have to do something so that this blue economy should, the contribution should increase in double digit. And there I think we have to work hard in all the aspects, whether it is coastal or deep sea or anywhere. And in this regard, I think we know the importance of metals. So metals are important for mankind since beginning of our evolution. And you know, only the type of metal requirement is changing, like from iron to copper to now we are talking about critical metals. So just before our session, we are talking about renewable energy, green energy and all those things. And you know, next few decades we are going to utilize more and more green energy, and there the requirement of the metals is, or critical metals like cobalt, lithium, copper, chromium, nickel, rare earth elements, platinum group elements are going to increase dramatically. We are going to use battery operated car, we are going to use batteries, we are going to operate the windmills and all. So everywhere the critical metals requirement is going to increase. In one estimate it has been shown that the increase will be 500% or 600%. Now the question is where those critical metals will come. Suppose you talk about cobalt or you talk about platinum group elements, where they are. Actually we are mostly importing. And you know, the lot of foreign exchange we are spending on this. We have to make the India Atmanirbhar. I think we have to look into the resources, and only resource currently, if you talk about these critical metals, we can find and we know that for sure that they are present is the ocean, deep ocean. So we have a big Indian Ocean that is almost 70 million square kilometer is available for us to explore or to find or to exploit the entire ocean for this type of critical metals. So we, you know, because of our active earth, this top 70 kilometer of the earth is moving, and because of this plate tectonics activity, we have a huge this hydrothermal ridges are there, mid-oceanic ridges are there, which is like Karlsberg Ridge, Central Indian Ridge, and Southeast Indian or Southwest Indian Ridge, almost 6,000 kilometers long in the Indian Ocean. where because of the hydrothermal activity, lot of this type of metals are getting deposited, like base metal like copper, zinc, lead, or rare earth elements, or very strategic metal like germanium, indium, and all these things are getting deposited in those areas. So there is a need to do a systematic study or exploration. Some work is being done there. We have already done MOES and National Institute of Oceanography. They have together done a lot of work in this area, and we have identified some of the plumes chemically, but because we have not identified exactly the vent, we are trying to do that. Not only the active vents, but also the fossils vents we have to locate to get these minerals. So first we have to explore, and then of course technology development will be there to exploit those metals. Currently, if you see, it could be a costlier prospect, because means even if we are importing it, it's becoming cheaper, but we have to get ready ourselves for the tomorrow, because it should not happen in the case like for the case we are not prepared for the petroleum, all suddenly a huge amount of petroleum we are importing. Now we know that critical metals are going to important. I think we have to invest, we have to get ourselves ready for the future, and hence actually the technology has to be developed to exploit or explore those things. The technology like remotely operated vehicle or autonomous underwater vehicle has to be developed. So those technology, I think industry participation has to be there. State people can be interested into that. And also the another aspect or another part where a lot of metals are available is the platinum, there's polymetallic nodule in the Central Indian Ocean. So that work has already been done since last, I think, 20-25 years, 30 years we are doing, and almost 3 lakh square kilometer has been mapped, and almost 75,000 square kilometer. We have found almost 350 million ton of polymetallic nodule where cobalt, nickel, and all those things are available. And now MOES with this deep ocean mission, they are trying to develop the technology to exploit that. So these are some of the area where a lot of technology intensive research has to be done, technology has to be developed, and in this regard, I think state people can partner for technology development and also the exploration purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil. Yes, it is important to have a technology not only for hunting the hydrothermal vent area, but also to estimate the resource available and also to harness the metals. We need to have a technology. For that, only one of the mission of deep ocean mission is the technology development for harnessing the non-living resources. Thank you, Dr. Sunil. Now I request Dr. Bhatt, and he will be talking about maybe just to highlight about the importance of climate change advisories and its benefits to the coastal states.
Dignitaries on the dais and those in the audience, at the outset, grateful thanks to DST for organizing this conclave, which is both timely and important, and also for inviting MOEFCC for this conclave. Greetings to all the participants from MOEFCC. I will stick to time and very quickly raise 5 questions and give 1 minute answer to each. So the first point is, how important is the issue of climate change? Everybody says it's very important, but today we know that climate change is most crucial of all other environmental challenges. It is the epitome of all challenges, if one may say so. And why? Because without climate change in check, success with other challenges, even if they are achieved, will not, is very little. In a yardstick of 100, India's emissions stand at 4% of global cumulative emissions. These gases accumulate in the atmosphere. So it is between 1850 and 2019, our footprint is just 4%, despite being home to 1/6 of humanity. Then the question arises, what are we doing? So we are having resolute actions domestically, and many speakers earlier said that renewable energy, for example, to highlight a point, renewable energy installed capacity has grown 22 times between 2014 and now. So apart from resolutely addressing climate change domestically, for the world, India has proudly created the International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and India is also co-leading with Sweden in the hard-to-abate sectors. My penultimate point in view of less time is that in terms of adaptation, we have all spoken. I would only say that research is basic to any developmental activity, and we need to anticipate and forecast more and more rather than react and correct. React and correct is important, but anticipate and forecast is what we should do more. In terms of the ministry to which I belong, I must add here that our jungles are in good shape, our forest and tree cover are increasing at a time when jungles have caught fire in terms of Amazonia, Australia, California, Turkey. Name any country and you would have noticed from the televisions that there are a lot of forest fires. We have been able to preserve our jungles, our wildlife. Our jungles are also teeming with wildlife. And why am I saying this? I am saying this because this is what has been demonstrated by India is that with good governance, both environment and development can go hand in hand. My last point pertains to the fact that let me say that let us remind ourselves of the very important guidance given by our Honorable Prime Minister at the start of this conference. And I would repeat those 2 points which were very beautifully rendered by him. Nurture science and use it for national development. Believe in our scientists and celebrate their work. There is a age-old timeless saying in the Rig Veda, roughly translated in English it means, let noble thoughts come to us from all sides. And it goes like this, Ano Bhadra Kratvo Yantu Vishwataha. So in view of all what we have discussed, let us continue our brainstorming, mid-course corrections, and nurturing science, technology, and innovation. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Bachap. I think it is very important that climate change issues we need to address and we need to equip for that. So that is why one of the vertical under deep ocean mission is to advise the what is the projection in especially in the coastal in a decade or in multi-decade afterwards. So thank you. And next I request Dr. Pravir Banerjee to share his role of NGOs and how they partner with the blue economy and how they can contribute to the blue economy, or what is the interaction between these two.
Dr. Ravichandranji, eminent panelists here, and all you wonderful people in the audience, wish you all a good evening. I'd like to thank DST for giving me this opportunity. Now, if you want to understand how science, technology, and innovation can help address environmental and social issue, you have to come to Pondicherry. We had a lovely beach, but thanks to harbor which was mismanaged, 10 kilometers of the coast had completely eroded, lives and livelihoods lost. The salinity, seawater intrusion had made the water aquifer up to 8 kilometers saline, and it was a huge crisis. And then we came for help to Ministry of Earth Science, and thanks to Dr. Shaileshji, Ramanamurthy, and the team from NIOT and NCCR, we worked for almost 10 years now, and if you come there, you will see that the beach is restored. There is, the reef is teeming with marine life, the fishermen are happy, and the tourists are abounding on the beach. So I'd like to express on behalf of people of Pondicherry a deep sense of gratitude to Ministry of Earth Science for this miracle. Now, we had made a documentary called India's Disappearing Beaches, a wake-up call. But now it looks like we have to make a sequel of India's reappearing beaches, Time to Celebrate. So, continuing on the problem of erosion, according to Space Application Center and Central Water Commission, 45% of India's coast is eroding, which means what we are seeing in Pondicherry is happening all over India. Almost 50% of India's coast. So, in that aspect, while we need science and technology for finding solutions, but the bottom line is we need sand to restore the beaches. And in that regard, we have to do, like Shailesh said, the mapping of seabed, and to find out not only the marine species and all that, but also to find where sand is available. Because what we are doing is not only losing valuable coastal space, but we are changing the geography of the country. So this is something which needs to be addressed, for which we need to get sand from offshore. The other thing is, while we are talking about blue economy and using marine resources, the health of the ocean, every town and city along the coast of India is dumping their garbage and sewage into the sea. I see it in Pondicherry. We have done a lot of mapping of the lagoon and the irrigation channels, and the amount of garbage which is coming in is unimaginable. So first thing is to know. So we have been doing this mapping to find out which are the places which requires intervention. And unless we stop this nonsense of putting all our garbage and sewage into the sea, we can't say that, we want to develop economy through livelihoods, but in sewage water and in the midst of garbage. Already the marine life is under serious threat. So I think we have to prioritize and first stop the mess that we are creating into the ocean, and while simultaneously thinking about the blue economy. And in this regard, we have done trained coastal communities in preparing GIS maps of their villages. And with the help of NCCR, we can train the communities to do this kind of mapping and create awareness in their communities so that we can stop this destruction of our marine life. And the other thing is we can develop a lot of artificial reefs which will enhance the marine life, which is happening in Pondicherry and can probably in many other places. This will definitely help in our blue economy, and that is something that we as NGOs can interface with the coastal communities in creating awareness and getting their support. And last but not the least is that all this we are seeing is because of a serious disconnect between people and the environment. And this is what needs to get reconnected. So what is imperative is that in our educational curriculum, we introduce the subjects of coast and ocean, because while we say that 30% of the people live on the coast, I don't know how many people actually understand what is the coast and the ocean. So if we can inculcate in the youth this interest for the coast and the ocean, we will get a lot more people, young people, coming into this field of innovation and going into science and technology to sort out these issues that we are creating at the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And really it is true that the Pondicherry beach restoration is one of the novelty in ocean technology, how we can demonstrate. And I'm sure that in the coming years, more and more area, without distorting in other areas, we will make a large benefit, especially to develop ecotourism in the coastal regions. So now I request industry partner Sri Kaushik to tell about how the ocean technology to demonstrate, especially to energy and water, how it is possible from ocean areas.
Good evening, one and all. Thank you for the opportunity given by in this event to Department of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Science. Our company, I am introduced our company Kaushik Pressure Vessels Private Limited. We are dealing with all MNC companies and many government organizations. We are ISRO and NIOT. Our major customer is the NIOT. We are traveling, working with NIOT from 2012. We started low thermal desalination projects executed. Still it is working successfully, producing the fresh water. That is, I will say proudly. Now I can participate, whatever our support to NIOT for this deep sea mission project is a concept. Already we executed, one is the I have taken three topics. One is the desalination and another one is the deep sea mining and the energy. Regarding the desalination, we are already did 3 projects in 2012. Only equipments we supplied the system. It is working successfully. And another, now we are working, already commissioning the projects, 3 islands. In Lakshadweep Island, it is serve the people for drinking water. One already commissioned. 2 it is in the going to commission next year for the, before March. And one we are saying proudly, another one regarding the energy. One of the key project that we are currently executing in the island in VIII, power production and integrated LTD desalination plant, which produces its own power requirement. Once completed, this is going to be first place in the world to operate 100% independent of the power grid. Once it is commissioned and successfully we are proven technology, then it will useful for all, even for deep mining or gas extraction for ONGC, they can use as a floating body. This plant is installed on mooring floating body. It will produce the water and power. They can serve both the options. And one more thing I will tell you, we are planning one project for new concept for desalination. This next year it will come with working with one private company. We are doing that project. It is commissioned. It is competitive with RO. RO is everybody is know RO is not environmental friendly. Some damages is there. It is environmental friendly and footprint also less footprint is recorded, this one. And one more thing I will say you proudly, whatever previous competent participant is told, Pondicherry beach restoration is did by one of our associated company. It is proudly I will say thanks to Dr. Ramanamurthy, he is only associated this project at the time. Thank you. Thank you for. One more thing, I have to say one thing. For Ministry of Earth Science, whatever record for industry side, we are ready to support for any support, R&D support or anything. We are ready to support. Thanks for giving this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know that this is one of the unique demonstration project of fresh water from the ocean, without spoiling the environment, but also we are enhancing the ecosystem so that the fisheries productivity is increased in the Lakshadweep area. I think we need to develop such more technology in the coming years. So lastly, I request Dr. Ramanamurthy to say a few words about the deep ocean mission and overall what are the, especially in the shoreline changes and the health of the ocean, all related aspects.
dignitaries on dais and then off the dais, and delegates, and many participants from the various institutions. First of all, I would like to thank Department of Science and Technology. The entire team has been working for last 2 days for making this event successful for that. So coming to the deep ocean mission, I think we know all from the future food, energy, water, and also from the minerals will come from the ocean. There is a lot of scope for exploring these things in the ocean. This deep ocean mission is basically launched to see that what are all the unexplored areas in the ocean can be explored, and then that will be used for the mankind. We are trying to involve NGOs, industry, and then various scientific organizations. To highlight that what Secretary Ministry of Earth Science has told, we are going to have a call for proposal for deep ocean mission activities under the 6 verticals, which will be released shortly in the coming week, and then we request all the state governments as well as for the industries to participate and then see that how we can take it big on that. Coming to the center-state relations for that, state and center, it has to go, our Honorable Prime Minister has already told, we should go one and together for that. Unless we have a good cooperation or synergy between central government institutions and then state institutions, it will not go for that. Ultimately, the benefits have to be derived from the state. Even though the technology is provided, whether it can be a CSR or Department of Science and Technology, whatever the ministries are there, the beneficiaries are all basically from the states. So we should have more such kind of conclaves and then collaborations in the future with state. In fact, this is the first of our nature to see how center and state can collaborate each other. With these few words, due to the paucity of time, once again, I thank all of you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ramanamurthy. I think our panelist has shared many of the deep ocean mission, some of the pilot project, and also what are the plans in the future, what they will to do. I think you can see that in the panelists, right from the climate scientists, and then civic society, and the oceanographer, and the leadership role, and the leaders, and then state implementing agency, and private partners, and fisheries, and the other leaders. So we have various kinds of spectrum, and we need to, it is to be typical way we need to work together for the benefit of anything to translate whatever the science or technology to the society and services. I think at the same time, United Nations, I think I mentioned about India's vision in 2030. Of course, that 47 will come later. In 2030, one of the vertical is, 6th vertical is blue economy. At the same time frame, UN also has declared one of the main mission is considering the importance of the ocean and UN Decade of Oceans from 2021 to 2030. Of course, the main objective of the UN Decade of the Ocean is to have what science we need for what ocean we want to have. That's the main purpose. But of course, we should have aim to have a clean ocean, healthy ocean, resilient ocean, productive ocean, predictive ocean, safe ocean, accessible ocean, inspiring and enhancing, engaging ocean. That is what we need. So hope all we will work together for that purpose. Now I quickly ask any of the pressing points in our panelists want to convey. 1 or 2 sentences you can convey. Otherwise, we will ask 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Then we can close our session. Okay, from audience, any quick questions or anything? Okay, if there is no question, then maybe we can all clear or no clear. So thank you very much, and I think we will close the session now. Thank you.
Many thanks to our moderator and our esteemed panelists for a thought-provoking session. We now request all of you to come forward for a group photo. Thank you so much, everyone. We will shortly start our concluding session. Please remain seated.
A very good evening to one and all. Thank you all and our sincere gratitude to our dignitaries on the dais, our representatives from states, union territories, scientific ministries, startups, and budding entrepreneurs and innovators joining us for 2-day Center State Science Conclave. We are in our concluding session. I will request our Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Dr. Chandrasekhar, for his remarks.
Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Jiten Singh Ji, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Gujarat Government, dignitaries on the stage, friends in the audience. I'm happy that this concluding session has begun now, and the Center State Science Conclave, which is aptly inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister, really has energized all of us for the last 2 days, and the discussions have been very fruitful. The Ministry of Science and Technology, under the leadership of Dr. Jiten Singh Ji, is always open to bring in decisive changes in the system to strengthen the center-state partnerships in science and technology. We have seen the Gujarat model, which has showcased the kind of activities in this campus. I'm also happy that the Indian science and technology has risen to the commendable position as compared to science a decade ago. Technology translation is the next big thing in front of our scientific community. Indians are good at doing best science, known for frugal engineering, but need to embed value addition to their research through technology orientation. The Union government has put forward several means to foster novel, transformative and impactful research ecosystem through a strong industry, academia collaboration, and also now the center-state relations. Another development I feel important worth talking today is the liberalized guidelines for the geospatial policy. And we're already seeing the success stories in the startups which have displayed their stalls in this campus. We also launched a new program called State University Research Excellence, where exclusively state universities are given a grant to promote science and technology. The two-day discussions have promised several level playing fields, and we must all resolve to translate the recommendations of this conclave into policies, programs, and actions that deliver results. Substantial funding has been provided to states through state S&T councils, and we are willing to work more closely after this event. I know that several S&T state councils, including that of Gujarat, Karnataka, Punjab, Kerala, Uttarakhand, are performing exceedingly well, but now we believe that there should be a competition built amongst all of us to see that every state competes with other states, to see that everyone excels. The conclave is ending, but I'm sure it's the beginning of several S&T frontiers of common interest. We shall resolve to do better for a better future. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chandrasekhar, for your remarks and the new interventions to be taken forward. Now I take pleasure in inviting our Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, Professor Sood, to present brief recommendations that we have deliberated across the sessions in our two-day journey of this conclave. Over to you, sir.
Can I have the presentation? Yeah. Very good afternoon. You would all agree that we had very action-packed 2 days, yesterday and today. And in all the sessions, we had number of recommendations. So here is a summary of some of these recommendations. And Dr. Akhilesh Gupta and his team have done a fabulous job in compiling all the discussions which have happened into very succinct form. And I have the privilege to present so that this acts as a reminder to us when we go back on what we need to do. So we all agree that this two-day conclave, of course it was energized by our Honorable Prime Minister's inaugural address, and we had almost 750 delegates, almost every state participated, 9 ministers participated, and 9 sessions, which really had very important outcomes. So let me go one by one. So can I go to the next slide? So we had this first session on leadership session, and here in nutshell we had a clarity that we must create proactive engagements in science, technology and innovation between center and state through effective governance and institutional mechanism. So these mechanisms have to be now chiseled into some actionable items, and that's what the next engagement should do. Work towards strengthening the STI ecosystem of the states through appropriate policy intervention and fund support both at the center and state levels. Now, Government of India to identify individual state-specific technology needs, challenges and gap areas, and help state evolving viable solutions. It was also discussed in that ministerial meeting that each state to work for formulating their state STI policies. Few states have done it, but lot more needs to be done. And DST, Government of India, will provide all assistance for this. Now this one, next one is a very important point, which is not homogeneously available in all states. Each state to allocate R&D funds for undertaking research. So this should be a line item in the budget, which will really put the responsibility on the states to really focus on R&D. Some states are doing it, but many more states need to really learn from that. Suitable mechanism for facilitating the flow of STI information and data between center and state should be set up. So we should really see how we can set up a very effective dashboard, and that's what again needs to be worked out. All states and UTs may work towards promoting private sector participation in the state R&D. As it was discussed in one of the sessions, again this point will come up, even the FDI attraction into states should be really strengthened. And Government of India may set up a mechanism for facilitating capacity building for scientists, technologists and professionals from states in key technology areas. Can we go to the next one? Yeah, Vision 2047 was the second plenary session, and there was we had the 6 presentations, and it said that there should be a detailed mapping of states to identify technology needs of states, which can be facilitated by different science and department of the Government of India. And you had presentations from DST, DBT, CSIR, MOES, DOS and DAE, all these coming our under Honorable Minister. But of course there are other ministries also where S&T plays a role, and they should also be roped in. Need to enhance higher share of private sector investment, as I said, really see how to really put incentives and the intervention of states to achieve this. Bringing synergy and filling the gaps to pursue the One Health mission, which is very, very important for all states, and center is also committed. Many departments of center are doing it, and Principal Scientific Advisor's Office, we have taken the mission to really integrate all the effort. Vision for 2047 can only be based on sustainability and healthy India by capitalizing bioeconomy for the growth of the country. Now we go to the session 3rd, doubling private sector participation. Again, have some overlap with the previous one. Here, making policy interventions to provide R&D incentive to industry, structural changes needed for facilitating direct financial support to industry, adopt and implement industry-led, government-facilitated PPP model, again happening in few states but need to be replicated. Establish R&D clusters to bring together various stakeholders, and this we can learn because PSA office has opened 7 city clusters, and one can learn from that and see how other cities, other states would like to come forward. Facilitating FDI, as I mentioned, in R&D, encouraging industry to contribute to R&D through CSR, and promoting microfinancing through crowdfunding and philanthropic sources, including our diaspora. So these are some of the recommendations for national policy for linking public procurement with domestic industries, very important point, and set up a suitable R&D fund for enhancing state STI system. Again, saying that states have to do more than what they have been doing, and that will go a long way. Now I come to the next session, put in STI interventions from states, put in a position to center-state S&T coordination and governance mechanism at the highest possible level. This is the point to be emphasized, that it should be really done like in this conference. Our Honorable Minister is here throughout these 2 days. Many S&T state ministers are participating. Really at that level of leadership, we have to engage so that the message percolates that this needs to be done at the highest level. Build center state and state at institutional collaboration and partnership. Here the idea is that different institutes in different states need to come forward and engage with each other. So this is something, a message which can go from here and promote this interaction between state and state center. Next we had the agriculture session, And there we had the need for innovative technological intervention for strengthening agriculture domain, encourage climate resilient crop, new technologies such as agriculture drones, satellite photography and sensors, IoT-based sensor networks putting across the states, and government should focus on market network to enhance farmers' income, especially with the help of digital platforms. I will just summarize in next one more slide. In the water, again a very important area. We need coordinated and concerted approach involving all stakeholders, including academia and industry. So again, focus should be on reducing water consumption vis-a-vis enhancing agriculture productivity. Apart from desalination method and aquifer recharge models, technologies should be developed and adopted for use of saline water. This has been going on in some institutes, but it needs to really amplify. And technologies developed by all these labs, public R&D labs, they should reach to states with appropriate mechanisms. So the last part is the last session which we had today. Last two sessions, one on energy and another on deep ocean mission. And here it was absolutely clear that clean hydrogen, green hydrogen is one of the way forward to meet our net zero emission promise. And here the specific vision is required to improve our energy security, reduce the import of fossil fuel, etc. And states are required to play an active role in producing, utilizing and storing hydrogen. Advanced technology tools can be applied to explore new avenues of alternate renewable energy resources, and then transitioning to clean energy and environment requires definitely resources, infrastructure, and state-specific policies are required in this area of clean energy. The last session, which just finished few minutes back, is the Deep Ocean Mission, and there open climate change advisory services with blue economy priority area of coastal tourism, technologies for deep sea mining and manned submersible, conducting deep ocean survey and exploration, technology innovations for exploration and conservation of deep sea biodiversity, energy and fresh water from the ocean, and marine bioscience. Again, these are the areas which were discussed in this last session. So with this, this is a summary of the recommendations which have come in all these 8 sessions, and I hope we have enough to think over when we go back and really find out how this can be implemented in coordination between center and state. So I hope you will go back with this message, and we will be posting all these recommendations on the appropriate forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Sood, for highlighting the key takeaways and policy and program level interventions in different thematic areas to enhance the science, technology and innovation ecosystem, along with the center state coming together. Now I take pleasure in inviting Shri Jitu Bhai, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat, for his intervention and vision on the theme of this conclave. Over to you, sir.
आदरणीय केंद्रीय मंत्री श्री जितेंद्र सिंह जी, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के सम्मानीय अधिकारी, हमारे सेक्रेटरी गुजरात स्टेट, आप सब उपस्थित 2 दिन के देश का पहला कॉन्क्लेव उसमें हिस्सा लेने के लिए आए हुए सब डेलीगेट्स, मुझे खुशी है। आज तो मैं सुबह से नहीं था, मेरी बात हुई सेक्रेटरी से तो बता रहे थे कि बहुत अच्छा आज भी आपने सबने मेरी एक कॉन्क्लेव में अलग अलग सत्र में हिस्सा लिया। मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है, क्योंकि जितेंद्र सिंह जी के अध्यक्षता में ये पूरा कॉन्क्लेव, और मैं मानता हूं कि पहली दफा है कि केंद्रीय मंत्री 2 दिन एक अडिंगा जमा के एक जगह कॉन्क्लेव में बैठे, सब आपका धन्यवाद है, क्योंकि ये असंभव है, इतनी बड़ी जिम्मेदारी, इतना बड़ा काम, फिर भी एक कमिटमेंट और डेडिकेशन। हमको आप जिस तरह से काम कर रहे हैं उसमें प्रेरणा भी मिलेगी और हम भी इस तरह से आने वाले दिनों में चलेंगे। मैं मानता हूं कि ये कॉन्क्लेव प्रथम बार हो रहा है, फिर भी जिस तरह से इसका आयोजन किया गया गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से आपके मार्गदर्शन में, यहाँ हमने 2-3 कॉन्क्लेव इंटरनेशनल भी हमारे एजुकेशन के किए हैं। इंटरनेशनल कॉन्क्लेव कॉन्फ्रेंस था, एक हमारा प्राइमरी एजुकेशन का भी था, और बतौर प्रमुख भी और धारासभ्य के नाते भी कहीं कॉन्क्लेव कॉन्फ्रेंस में जाना हुआ है। मैं मानता हूं कि एक कॉन्क्लेव में कोई कमी नहीं रही है। इस तरह से इसका आयोजन, इसका प्लानिंग, सब उसके सत्र, उसकी व्यवस्था, और हमें खुशी है कि जिस तरह से केंद्र की ओर से जो तज्ञ आए हैं, वैज्ञानिक आए हैं, उसने जिस तरह से हिस्सा लिया है, मैं मानता हूं कि एक बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट में आने वाले दिनों में, जिस तरह से हमारे नरेंद्र भाई के नेतृत्व में जो विजन उसका हम यहां देख रहे हैं, बतौर मुख्यमंत्री गुजरात सरकार की ओर से, गवर्नमेंट की ओर से साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी में क्या हो सकता है, ये जो आप देख रहे हैं वो मात्र नरेंद्र भाई मोदी यहां मुख्यमंत्री थे, गुजरात गवर्नमेंट की ओर से पैसा लगाया गया। ऐसा ही और स्टेट में अगर लगाया गया होता तो मैं मानता हूं कि ऐसी साइंस सिटी हर स्टेट में होती। ये नरेंद्र भाई का जो विजन था, और वो देख रहे हैं कि आने वाले दिनों में, आने वाले समय में अगर दुनिया के साथ जुड़ना है, विज्ञान और टेक्नोलॉजी दोनों का उपयोग जो कोरोना में हमने देखा है, कोरोना में हम सबको पता चला कि किस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग और विज्ञान भी कोरोना में बहुत हमको अचीवमेंट देके, बहुत अच्छा काम करके, चाहे सामान्य व्यक्ति उसको भी पता चला कि विज्ञान की भी कितनी आवश्यकता, टेक्नोलॉजी की भी कितनी आवश्यकता, और हर सेगमेंट में जिस तरह से यहाँ हमारे स्वास्थ्य को जोड़ा गया, एग्रीकल्चर को जोड़ा गया, हर जगह ये हमारा साइंस कहीं ना कहीं, कोई भी डिपार्टमेंट हो, कोई भी काम हो, समाज की कोई भी व्यवस्था हो, उसमें हम देखें तो साइंस है और है ही। और ये आने वाले दिनों में जो भी अर्क यहाँ अभी रिमार्क्स किए गए, मैं मानता हूं कि ये इतना बड़ा अर्क इसमें से निकला है। आने वाले दिनों में ये व्यवस्था ऐसे कि परमानेंट चलने वाली है। कल के दिन में कुछ और आ जाए तो ये जो हमने अर्क निकाला है उसमें जोड़ के पूरे देश में, मैं तो देश नहीं, जितेंद्र सिंह जी आपके अध्यक्षता में, माननीय नरेंद्र भाई मोदी के नेतृत्व में जो आप देश चला रहे हैं, हमको जो मार्गदर्शन मिला है, विश्व को यहां से कुछ मिलने वाला है। इस कॉन्क्लेव में मैं पूरा विश्वास और श्रद्धा के साथ कहता हूं कि पूरे विश्व में हम एक दिशा देने वाले भारत बन चुका है। तो हमारा साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट भी, और जो भी आने वाले दिनों में भी हमारे में कोई आइडिया, इनोवेशन और कोई सूचन, सजेशन हो तो भी एक कंटिन्यू प्रोसेस है। जितेंद्र सिंह जी इतना सरल और इतना उम्दा व्यक्तित्व है, हम कभी भी उसको मिल सकते हैं, सेक्रेटरी को भी बोल सकते हैं। आने वाले दिनों में हम साथ मिलके साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी का समाज में कैसा उसका उपयुक्त उपयोग हो, और आने वाले दिनों में विकास में इसका कैसा हम विकास की गति में हमारा कंट्रीब्यूशन करें, यही इसमें से निकलेगा। पुनः एक बार मैं आभार प्रकट करता हूं। थैंक्स तो साहब बोलेंगे, लेकिन गुजरात में आपने हमको मौका दिया है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, आदरणीय नरेंद्र भाई, आदरणीय जितेंद्र सिंह और उसकी टीम गुजरात को चुना, इसलिए मैं पुनः एक बार धन्यवाद करता हूं। आप सबका भी धन्यवाद करता हूं। कोई भी दिक्कत अगर चूक रही है तो वो चूक सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की नहीं है, हमारी है, हमको क्षमा करना। धन्यवाद। भारत माता की जय।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया श्री जीतू भाई जी. Your words were inspiring for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, now I invite our driving force for this conclave, our Honorable Minister for State for Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh. With huge round of applause, Dr. Singh.
गुजरात सरकार में विज्ञान, प्रौद्योगिकी और अन्य मंत्रालयों का प्रभार देखने वाले ऐसे हमारे प्रतिभाशाली मंत्री, हमारे So I have grown taller in 2 days. So that is the takeaway message. तो मैं कह रहा था कि हमारे ऐसे प्रतिभाशाली और हमारे मित्र भी जीतू भाई बगानी जी, जिनके साथ बड़े लंबे समय से मेरा परिचय है और एक अच्छा संजोग है कि विज्ञान के माध्यम से एक नया परिचय भी उनके साथ बन गया। इसी प्रकार हमारे प्रिंसिपल साइंटिफिक एडवाइज़र, जो भारत के इस समय अंतर्राष्ट्रीय ख्याति प्राप्त वैज्ञानिकों में से एक हैं, प्रोफेसर सूद, डॉक्टर चंद्रशेखर, साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी विभाग के सचिव होने से पहले भी उन्होंने विज्ञान के जगत में ख्याति प्राप्त कर चुके थे। अखिलेश जी, जिनकी टोली ने बड़े कुशलता से इस 2 दिन के कार्यक्रम को निभाया है और दिन रात मेहनत करके माइक्रो मैनेजमेंट करने वाले ऐसे हमारे भरोसेमंद साथी। नीरा साहब, जिनकी तारीफ कल भी आपने सुनी, आईएएस अधिकारी होकर के भी विज्ञान में रुचि रखते हैं। तो कभी आपको कौन बड़े करोड़पति में सवाल आ जाए, किसी ऐसे आईएएस अफसर का नाम बताएं जिसकी फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस ऑफ पोस्टिंग साइंस डिपार्टमेंट हो, तो नीरा साहब, क्योंकि अक्सर ऐसा देखने को कम मिलता है। एंड मेंबर्स ऑफ द साइंटिफिक फ्रेटर्निटी और हमारे युवा स्टार्टअप्स। तो सबसे पहले तो मुझे धन्यवाद करना है आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का, चाहे वो हमारे साथ वर्चुअली जुड़े, लेकिन ऐसा कहने में कोई संकोच नहीं कि उनके जुड़ने से इस 2 दिवसीय सम्मेलन का स्तर बढ़ गया। और मोदी जी अपने में स्वयं एक ब्रांड हैं। जिस प्रकार की हमें मीडिया कवरेज भी मिली, देश भर में इस 2 दिन के कार्यक्रम की चर्चा हुई, उसके लिए मुझे आप सब की तरफ से, अपनी तरफ से, विभाग और मंत्रालय की तरफ से धन्यवाद करना है। दूसरा, आदरणीय जीतू भाई जी का, नेहरा साहब का, गुजरात सरकार का, हमने बहुत सोच समझ करके ये निर्णय किया था कि जो पहली बार इस प्रकार का सम्मेलन हो रहा है, इसका आयोजन साइंस सिटी गुजरात में ही हो। और सच पूछिए तो इसमें थोड़ा सा एक स्वार्थ भी था। स्वार्थ ये कि हमें लगा कि हमारी व्यवस्था में सरलता बन जाएगी, क्योंकि यहाँ पर इस प्रकार का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और व्यवस्था पहले से ही ऑटो मोड पर मौजूद थी और हमारे लोगों को जुड़ने में आसानी हो जाएगी। और इसलिए उनका धन्यवाद भी करना है, और शायद इसलिए भी कि ये चूंकि हम इसको एक वार्षिक फिनोमिना बनाने का प्रयास लेके आगे बढ़ रहे हैं और उस तरह की योजना है, तो शायद एक मापदंड भी तय हो जाए। मैंने आज ही अनुरोध किया है अपनी टीम से कि एक हम फिल्म बना लें जिसके एमबीएस में साइंस सिटी और दूसरा जो आगे पीछे का एमबीएस था वो भी कैप्चर किया जाए, ताकि अगली बार जो भी वेन्यू हो उनके पास भले ही साइंस सिटी ना हो, लेकिन आजकल के इवेंट मैनेजर उस प्रकार का एमबीएस रिक्रिएट कर सकते हैं। तो एक अच्छा आपने बेंचमार्क स्थापित किया है इस मेडन कॉन्फ्रेंस का, इसके लिए भी गुजरात की सरकार को श्रेय जाता है। इस कॉन्फ्रेंस को लेकर के बहुत सी नए प्रयोग भी करने का एक प्रयास हुआ है। पहला तो ये कि मैं आपके सामने खड़ा हूं, वरना आमतौर पर मंत्री उद्घाटन सत्र के बाद गायब हो जाता है और अधिकारीगण भी मस्त हो जाते हैं और कहा जाता है कि साहब इनॉग्रेशन हो गया तो सारा काम खत्म हो गया। लेकिन हमने सोचा कि मोदी जी ने जिस तरह से इस देश में एक नई कार्यशैली स्थापित करने का प्रयास किया है, हम उस पर पूरा उतरे एंड वी शुड बी सीरियस अबाउट व्हाट वी आर डूइंग। इसीलिए हमने जो विदेश यात्राओं में हमारे जाते थे डेलीगेशन, उसकी भी प्रूनिंग डाउन की, जो प्रेजेंट करने वाला वो जाए, और मैंने कहा कि मंत्री नहीं जाएगा जब तक बड़ी मजबूरी नहीं होगी, क्योंकि अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि मंत्री जाता है, वहाँ दीप प्रज्वलन करता है, उसके बाद टूरिस्ट बन जाता है। तो हमने उस प्रथा को भी थोड़ा सा, कुछ लोगों को दिक्कत तो होगी, लेकिन अपने से ही शुरू करेंगे तो तब आगे बात बढ़ेगी। तो एक वो प्रयास करने का है, और मुझे बड़ी खुशी है कि इसमें सहयोग देते हुए आज शाम तक वैलिडिटी सेशन में भी जीतू भाई जी को मैं बता रहा था, हमारे उड़ीसा के मंत्री भी यहाँ पे रहे, उत्तर प्रदेश के भी रहे, 3-4 मंत्री अंत तक सारे सत्रों में भाग भी लेते रहे। और उससे ये भी होता है कि अधिकारियों में भी थोड़ा सा उसमें गंभीरता आ जाती है। दूसरा, हमने इस कॉन्फ्रेंस को ज़्यादा एकेडमिक स्वरूप देते हुए उसको थीम्स के आधार पर रखा, जैसे जल की थीम हुई, जो स्वास्थ्य सेवा में नवाचार हो रहा है उसकी थीम, जैसा अभी आप प्रोफेसर सूद ने आपको पढ़ के सुनाया। अन्यथा क्या हो जाता है कि जनरलाइज सी भाषणबाजी हो जाया करती थी, और एक मिली जुली पैनल बनाने का प्रयास हुआ ताकि सब एक दूसरे के साथ सप्लीमेंटेशन कर सकें। और उससे एक ये भी है कि जो हमारे यहाँ सरकार में एक स्वभाव बन जाता है कि मैंने टेलीफोन करना तो मैंने डायरेक्ट नहीं करना, मैंने ऑपरेटर को कहना। अगर ऑपरेटर आया है 9 बजे तो मैं 9 बजे तक इंतजार कर लूँगा, लेकिन खुद नहीं करूँगा। मैंने बड़ा कोशिश की है पिछले 9-8 साल में उस प्रथा को तोड़ने की, वरना मजबूरी ये आपके ऊपर बंदिश हो जाती है। फिर वो आएगा, फिर वो मिलाएगा, फिर पहले किसने उठाया इसका भी देखना है। तो मैं कहता हूँ कि साहब, हम टेक्नोलॉजी विभाग से संबंध रखते हैं, तो हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी उपलब्ध है मोबाइल की, हम उसका इस्तेमाल क्यों नहीं करते? फिर भी हम ऑपरेटर पर निर्भर है। तो एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी को सीधा फोन नहीं कर सकता, मंत्री को इंतजार करना पड़ता है ऑपरेटर आए। तो हमने वो भी प्रथा कम से कम जो 6-7 विभाग से मैं जुड़ा हूँ, मैं सीधा सबके मोबाइल रखे है, मुझे उससे बड़ी सरलता हो जाती है। तो ये सरलता अपने लिए, कामकाज और ऊर्जा बचाने के लिए। अब आज के इस 2 दिवसीय सम्मेलन को, जो कि ये वैलिडिक्टरी, अब बहुत ज़्यादा बात करने की आवश्यकता नहीं, इसको आगे कैसे बढ़ाना है, 1-2 मैंने सुझाव रखे हैं अखिलेश जी के आगे कि होता क्या है कि हम एक दूसरे की, जैसे कल प्रधानमंत्री जी कह रहे थे कि हम एक दूसरे की प्रैक्टिसेस को कैसे अडॉप्ट करें, लेकिन अडॉप्ट करने के लिए हमें जानकारी रहनी चाहिए। अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं आई सी व्हाट द माइंड नोज। माइंड को पता ही नहीं मुझे क्या चाहिए, तो आंख क्या दिखेगी। अब जैसे राजस्थान, गुजरात, पंजाब में हमने हेलीबॉर्न टेक्नोलॉजी से पानी निकालने की प्रथा शुरू की, लेकिन मुझे हैरत हुई, मैं पंजाब और जम्मू कश्मीर में गया तो वहाँ जल शक्ति वालों को ही मालूम नहीं था कि ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी हमारे पास मौजूद है। अब वो ज़माना जाता रहा कि कुआं खोदते थे, फिर पानी निकला नहीं निकला, मैन पावर भी ज़ाया गई, खर्चा भी हुआ। अब वो सीधा चित्र आ जाता है, लेकिन उनको जानकारी नहीं थी। तो हम एक महत्वपूर्ण जो निर्णय हम कर रहे हैं, जो मैंने अखिलेश जी को कहा है कि एक हम डैशबोर्ड तैयार करेंगे। हम टेक्नोलॉजी से संबंध रखते हैं, अगर हम भी टेक्नोलॉजी ना अपनाएं, अगर हम भी ऑपरेटर पर ही निर्भर रहे, तो भले दूसरे क्या टेक्नोलॉजी अपनाएंगे। तो डैशबोर्ड जिसकी एक्सेसिबिलिटी प्रत्येक राज्य को रहेगी, प्रत्येक केंद्र शासित प्रदेश को, और केंद्र में साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी मंत्रालय में, उसे जब चाहे मंत्री देख सकते हैं, जब चाहे कोई अधिकारी देख सकते हैं, जब चाहे वैज्ञानिक देख सकते हैं। यानी अगर आपको लगे कि मुझे जल के लिए इस प्रकार की एक समस्या का समाधान चाहिए, तो उस डैशबोर्ड से आपको जानकारी मिलेगी कि क्या किसी और प्रदेश में इस प्रकार का प्रयोग हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, तो हम उसके साथ संपर्क कर सकते हैं। और दूसरा, हर प्रदेश अपनी ओर से एक नोडल ऑफिसर नियुक्त कर दे, क्योंकि सचिव के लेवल पर हर चीज़ नहीं हो सकती, उनके पास और भी बहुत सारे काम रहते हैं। एक नोडल अधिकारी जो कि एक निरंतर संपर्क बनाए रखे केंद्र के साथ साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी से, और प्रदेश सरकार भी उसके जिम्मे कर दे कि ये काम तुमने ढूंढ के लाना है, और हमारी भी जिम्मेवारी रहे कि हमारे भी वहाँ से अधिकारी करें। तो अखिलेश जी उसका भी नोट ले रहे हैं। और तीसरा आगे चल करके, आज तो नहीं बिकॉज आई डोंट वांट टू हैव अ वेरी लाउड एम्बिशियस थिंकिंग, लेकिन सोचा ऐसा मैंने अखिलेश जी से कहा कि कई देशों में जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट होता है सेंटर स्टेट साइंस काउंसिल का, जिसके सदस्य केंद्र के प्रतिनिधि भी रहते हैं, राज्यों के भी, मंत्री स्तर के भी, सचिव स्तर के, वैज्ञानिक, उस तरह की हम कल्पना कर सकते हैं क्या, उस पर हम काम करके शीघ्र ही आपके सामने लौटेंगे। लेकिन डैशबोर्ड का हम तुरंत ही एक उपलब्धि करवा देंगे ताकि हमें पता तो रहे कि हम एक दूसरे से, और आगे चल करके तो उसकी ऐप बन जाएगी तो हम मोबाइल से भी उसको एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। तो ये 2-3 महत्वपूर्ण हमने निर्णय लिए हैं अभी शाम को। अभिनंदन है, अभी मैं आप ही का उपाध्याय जी उल्लेख कर रहा था, मैंने कहा पहली बार एक नया इसमें एक नई संस्कृति देखी है इस सम्मेलन में कि हमारे मंत्री महोदय अंत तक बैठे हैं 2 दिन, वरना उद्घाटन सत्र के बाद अपेक्षा नहीं रहती। तो देखिए मंत्री जी अभी भी अगर हमें मालूम होता कि आप इधर ही हैं तो आपको मंच पर स्थान रहता, लेकिन अब हम समापन की ओर चल पड़े। तो ये 2-3 हमने महत्वपूर्ण फैसले किए हैं। हम समय समय पर जहाँ जहाँ भी आवश्यकता होगी इस प्रकार की बैठकें औपचारिक अनौपचारिक भी होती रहेंगी, और वर्ष में एक बार राज्य बदल करके भी, या फिर कहाँ पर वेन्यू होती है, क्योंकि हमें राज्य ऐसा चाहिए जो रिलक्टेंट होस्ट ना हो, क्योंकि वो मेज़बानी करे मजबूर होके तो फिर वो बात बनती नहीं है। जैसे गुजरात जीतू भाई जी ने जिस दिन मंत्री पद संभाला मंत्रिपरिषद के उस पुनर्गठन के बाद, तो पहले दिन ही इनका फोन आ गया, और दूसरे दिन ही जब ये दिल्ली पहुंचे तो हमें लगा कि जब इस प्रकार का उत्साह है तो उससे एक एनर्जी जनरेट होती है। तो इन सब बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए अगली बार फिर से हम किसी न किसी वेन्यू पर मिलेंगे, लेकिन उसका अर्थ ये नहीं है कि बीच के अंतराल में हमारा संपर्क टूट गया। हम अनौपचारिक औपचारिक मिल सकते हैं। कृपा करके अपने मोबाइल का इस्तेमाल करिए, करते तो हैं लेकिन फिर भी नहीं करते। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir, for visionary remarks, and big thanks for setting a guiding floor for us. Please join me with applause to extend our heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries on the dais. Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology, Shri Jeetu Bhai ji Wagani ji, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat, Shri Vijay Nehra ji, Secretary DST Gujarat, Professor Sood ji for Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, and Chandrasekhar ji, Secretary DST. Now I take pleasure to invite Dr. Akhilesh Gupta for his final vote of thanks.
Respected Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Government of India, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Shri Jeetu Bhai Wagani, the Honorable Ministers from the Government of Gujarat, Shri Yogen Upadhyay ji, the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Uttar Pradesh, Professor A.K. Sood, TSA, Shri Chandrasekhar, Dr. Chandrasekhar, Secretary DST, esteemed dignitaries, delegates and guests attending today's program. It is indeed my proud privilege to deliver a vote of thanks as we conclude the two-day Central State Conclave. First of all, let me express our heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji for honoring us for his gracious presence at the inaugural session and his truly inspiring words, which sets the foundation to strengthen the Central State STI ecosystem and state the idea of cooperative, competitive federalism in STI. Many thanks to Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Bhupen Rajnikant Patel ji, for extending his constant support and guidance to organize this conclave in Ahmedabad. This conclave would not have been possible without his proactive involvement. Thank you, sir, so much. This script of conclave is entirely authored, planned, directed and implemented by our beloved Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji. In fact, for planning this event, he spent more than 24 to 25 hours. And he sat, I remember he sat 7 times and planned the entire event on this thing. So it is entirely his vision that finally came to reality, and as he mentioned that we will now set up a mechanism where this will be taken forward to next level, and as he advised us that now this will become a regular event every year. So today is being held in Gujarat, it will go to other states in rotation in future. So sir, in fact, I have no words to thank you, because you know that how much time you have given and your truly your inspiring leadership that made this event possible. Shri Jitubhai Wagani, the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology and Education, Government of Gujarat, in fact, he has been so supportive. Our Honorable Minister had been in touch with him when this event was being planned, and he had personally deputed me to meet him. I came and met him, and so all that entire planning was, in fact, he was very much, in fact, he desired that we should have this event in Kevadia, but somehow because of logistic reason this we could not have. But we can assure you, sir, that our event will try to have it in. So many thanks to the Honorable Minister. Also, we thank Mr. Vijay Nehra. In fact, he is, as Honorable Minister mentioned, that he is a man who has so much, in fact, interest in science and so much of passion that he has been supporting, and we have been constantly working together. So thank you very much, Mehra Sahab and Nehra and the entire team that in setting Dr. Sahu and his entire team at Gujarat and at DST Gujarat, and the team at the venue here at the Science City. They have been very supporting, and we are so grateful for Government of Gujarat and the entire team for working as one team with Government of India, and all the success today is all because of that collaboration. We are grateful to Dr. V.K. Saswat, Dr. Kaul, Niti Ayog, Dr. A.K. Sood, Dr. Chandrasekhar, all the science secretaries of the Science Department, and 14 Science Department of Government of India, including the 6 which work under Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, for being not only supporting us but also participating in session here. Many of the secretaries are himself there, or senior level officials are there to support. Also, the large number of startups. This is the one event where nearly 150 startups with their people and industry, and also all the departments have their stall here. They participated. So we really were grateful to all of them for coming and participating. Once it becomes a regular event, then you will have more organized way of working, because we have very little time. So we definitely feel sorry that some of the startup could not participate here. A very big thanks to my entire team from DST Government of India, who indeed worked very tirelessly for last so many weeks and days in planning and executing this event. The team, I don't have a very long list, but I'll just name few. We have Radhika, Soumya, Nimita, Nidhi, Parvinder, Devanjana, Sakat, Rohan, Rahul, Hamida, Achita, Sanjeev, and so many. So I don't have a very long list for it. I also wish to thank Honorable Minister OSD, Mr. Prashant Jha, that who has, and Venkat, another, who has been working behind the scene for this entire thing. I will fail in my duty if I don't thank the some core support that I had. Dr. Ravindra Kanigrai, scientist who has been working in the background, but very intensely with me. I think Dr. Ekta Kapoor, Dr. J.V. Reddy and some others who have worked with me as a team for organizing the event. At the end, I would say that Mr. Mohit Gupta, the CEO of the Expression 360, he has done a great job in organizing the entire event at a very short notice and done very hard work. And so all that logistic, hospitality and putting the entire show here was coordinated and implemented by his team. I think I am really grateful to him for this kind of commendable work that at a very short notice. Towards the end, I would say that I tender my apology if there are any lapses and shortfall. We take the entire responsibility for that, and the disruption that we experienced yesterday because of the heavy rain that disrupted one of our sessions. We sincerely apologize for that, and I might have missed some people in thanking them, so please do not mind. And I once again thank one and all for your participation and support. Thank you very much. Have a great time.
Thank you once again. Thank you all. Please join us for the high tea in this hall itself. Before that, I'll request to play the National Anthem. All right, let's sing together. जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए सब जय गाथा जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय जय Matram. Jai Hind, everyone. Please join us for the high tea. Shukriya. Jai Hind. I have a small announcement related to our Startup Expo. I will request everyone who has not visited our stalls to have a look and please go through each and every stall. We have some magnificent startups, industries, presentation there. All right. And we will also like to urge, please visit the Science City to have a wonderful experience of science in the city of Gujarat.